So today we have our first podcast with a guest, and it's a very special guest. It's a very special guest because of two reasons. The first one is she's from Venezuela, just like me. She's been here about the same time as me, a little bit less. And then also, she was the person that helped me and my mom buy our first house. So it's a very special person. She's known my journey, I've known her journey. So I brought her onto the podcast because I wanted her to share a few things about the real estate market. So
Here we are.
here we are. So one of the things that I want you to share with everybody is the fact that when you have a low down payment because it's your primary home,
Yes.
you have the ability to do it with the first house that you buy, but then after a certain amount of time, you can buy a second one with the same down payment and then rent the first one out and then start
Yes.
investing in real estate that way.
Just like
Right.
everything already.
Yeah.
Oh my God, let me do it. Yeah, actually, it's the easy way how you can start real estate
Mhm.
because as first time home buyer, you can get as low as 3 or 5% down payment. So it's very easy that start with 20% as investor.
Mhm.
For that reason, you can take advantage of that.
Right.
So when you bought your first house, or actually your mom, you did it with a strategy. You say like, yes, let's do the first home, and the next year we're gonna rent it out and buy another house.
Right.
So you did it with a strategy, and actually that's my job.
Mhm.
Plan. So do a plan for you. What we're gonna do
Right.
during the process, and what is gonna be the next step for you.
Right. Do you remember that I remember this very well. I was driving home and I called you to let you know, like, okay, so I asked you, I was like, how can we plan so that we can buy a house next year?
Yeah,
So,
I remember that. And they say like, no, you
no,
can do it.
we
this
can do it
day.
now. Yeah, exactly. So because there's a lot of people, like even me, that I'm like into investing and everything. Like I
Yeah.
didn't even know that we could do that, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's very important for people to know that they can do that with their first house, but also that they can move out of that house the following year and then rent that one out and start with 3%, like you said, instead of 20%.
Exactly.
So we did it that way, and because my mom and I are just filing taxes separately and everything. But how does it work for a married couple?
Yeah, it works the same. So it's how I say you need to do it with a strategy.
Okay.
So let's see, if you can buy only under one name.
Okay.
And after that, maybe you can buy another one under the other name. But it depends because in some situations, so you need the income for both of them in order to make it work for the loan. So it depends. Right now, so the interest rate is a little bit high, and also the prices. So most of the people needs to be together on the loan to make it
qualify.
work. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay. But if you qualify individually, then you are able to do one house under one person and the other under the second person, and then do the same the next year and the next year. So it would work pretty much the same as for us, where we're just separate, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So what about interest rates? You mentioned interest rates.
Yes.
Where
I don't like that.
What's typical?
Right now.
Like what interest rates are you seeing right now, and then where do you see them going for the rest of the year, even into 2024?
Okay, so right now we are seeing around like 6.5. Actually, also we can see 7 for primary residents. Okay, if we are talking with investment, maybe they can go a little bit up. Okay,
That's crazy.
but yes, actually, when you go and you run the numbers for an investment property, you say, like, oh my God, the return of investment is very low. So you need to really make it work in order like to get a good cash flow.
Yeah.
But I forgot the question.
Well, where do you see interest rates going?
Oh, okay, yes.
But real quick, because we're going through it together to like, because I want to buy as many properties as possible, but it's not easy to find one when the interest rate's so high, right?
Exactly.
So what we have been talking about right now is how do we get a good price on the property so eventually we can refinance and get your cash flow to be higher. Exactly. Is that something that a lot of people are doing right now?
Yes, there is a lot of investors that they are doing that right now. So they're buying right now because maybe they can get a very good deal.
Right.
And after that, if the interest go down, maybe they can refinance the loan
and get better cash flow.
Exactly.
So now where do you see interest rates going?
Yeah, again, actually, because of the inflation, I don't think the interest rate is gonna go like very very low this year. So I believe they're gonna go a little bit low around mid of the year, maybe the end of the year. But I truly believe we're not gonna see again 3%, 2.5, 2.8 that we saw last year actually.
So one of the things that we do is mortgages, right? I'm a mortgage officer. I never do loans because that's not what I do most of the time, but we can do it. And we actually refinanced properties back in 2020 for like 2% at 15 years. So it's like free money at that point. So we're never going to see it down to that point. But what about 4%, 5%?
I believe it's going to be around 4.5. That's going to be like the average for a good market. But right now, what we are seeing, it's more people buying houses. So there is more buyers on the market right now. So if you are thinking to buy a home, you should do it now. So did you remember? I don't know if you remember when we started to looking at houses last year, when it was a lot of competition. So you send an offer and say, no, we have multiple offers. And it's very hard working with that market because you need more money in order to get an offer accepted. And right now we are seeing that. Again.
Because it changed, right? Because I remember, and again, this kind of goes back to like, we're always looking for houses and we're in the market 24/7 pretty much looking for stuff. But we saw it when we first started looking for houses that there was a lot of competitions. People were offering like 30,000-40,000 on top of the price and like all that craziness. It went away a little bit when we were looking for the second house. Right?
Yeah, it was
so
easier.
It was like
it
was easy. It was like we can actually ask for closing costs and like do different things. But then it's like starting to heat up again. So I mean, I think the whole summary of this is just buy whenever you can buy.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely, yes. There is not like the perfect market. It's the perfect time for you.
Yeah, that's for your situation.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get a home and buy a home, after that refinance, that would be great. If you cannot refinance, that's the best rate that you can get. So don't worry about the rate. Don't worry about the price because you don't know what's going to happen.
Control that.
Exactly, or what's going to happen with your job or your income. So it's the time for you. It's what you can. That's it.
Yeah, and many people think that you can say that because you're a realtor and you're trying to like sell homes all year. But I can also tell everybody that that's what you should be doing. Like I don't make any commissions on selling the house. You do, but I can tell everybody that one of the worst mistakes that you can do on anything, stocks, real estate, a business, like there's never going to be a perfect time. And so I think that one of the things that we have been able to take advantage of is just buying whenever we can, right? Like when we were talking that day on my way home, I was like, listen, like next year and whatever. You were like, no, now. And I'm so glad that we did it because like we bought that house for like way lower than what it's worth today. So even in that market that was competitive, we were able to find that house, put some renovations into it, right? But it's worth way more right now. So you still can build equity even in a competitive market, right?
Exactly.
So with that being said, where do you see prices going?
Going up. I'm sorry to tell you this. So what is happening? It is simple because I don't know how people wants to complicate real estate because it's supply and demand. Okay, if the supply is low, it's gonna be competition. Okay, and it's what is happening right now. Okay, so when we check the inventory every day, so it's getting low. Every day it's less house on the market. Okay, so that's gonna, if you have like it's not enough.
There's a lot of people buying and there's just a lot not of people enough houses.
Not enough houses. We have right now only 1.8 month of inventory.
That's crazy.
It doesn't come any other house to the market.
we'll run out
less,
in a month.
in less than 2 months. It's
That's
nothing.
Crazy. So we got to like 6 months, right? Like a few months ago, we were like at 5-6 months of inventory.
Around 4, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it dropped half.
Yes, in only 1 month and a half.
How? Is it too many people buying and still moving in Vegas?
You need to think this. So there is a lot of people that bought their home with a low interest rate, with 3%.
Right. Yeah.
3% and a half, 4% actually. They don't gonna sell because they don't want to sell for and get another property with a 6%.
Yeah.
So they prefer, like, maybe if I'm thinking to make a move, maybe I'm gonna rent it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So because it doesn't make sense. Actually, they're gonna get a very return of investment with this property that
Huge.
Buying an investment property.
Yeah, because you also, when you got that interest rate, you got it because you also bought it at the right price as well. Because like if you bought it back in 2019, your house is already worth, here in Vegas at least, it's probably worth 150 more at least, right? Yes. So no, I agree with that. So I think that people should be more cautious on thinking and waiting on the sidelines. Like, just look for a good deal, buy it, and then write it out, right?
Exactly.
So
I completely agree.
What okay, so we're getting a lot of competition, we're getting like a lot of offers. I'm guessing that we're kind of going back and forth as like 2021, sort of that like annoying market.
Not completely, but I think we're gonna get there, because in 2022 we got like 2 weeks of inventory. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is nothing. 2 weeks.
We didn't have anything pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I sent offers for properties that had like 70 offers, so it was crazy. So if you don't take advantage right now, I really think, and actually for that people that needs like closing costs, it's gonna get hard.
Yeah. So if we're in that competitive market, how do you make your offer more attractive to the seller? Because then at that point you flip the table, and it's like the seller has the power. You have to kind of like, I remember like we would submit letters or I guess offers, right? And it was like, please sell me the house, right? Like,
the
choose me.
Letters.
I'll never forget this. For those of you who don't know, my background is my dad is from Italy, right? I'm not at all, but he is. And do you remember that older guy that
I'm Italian too.
Yeah. So we were getting into the offers of like homes, and this guy is from Italy. I used my last name to like get him to like accept our offer, right?
Yes.
Or like, I'm from Italy too, like, you want to keep it in Italy, so like take my offer. And he did, but I mean, we didn't end up buying the house. But how do you make it look more attractive though?
Yeah, sometimes maybe you can send love letters or anything like that, but I truly believe the time and a clean offer, and maybe we can offer on top of the price. There are like very good points to take in consideration. It's very hard for me sometimes like to explain like, oh, right now, because just a few weeks ago we can ask for closing costs. And right now, actually, if we ask for closing costs, we're not gonna get the house.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes people say like, it's like, no, it's you. So what I try to do is like really to hear from the agent what is going on with the house. Like, oh, I received another offer 20,000 above the list price. That's so it's not, they are not asking for closing costs. So I try to explain that. They hear that. So they can understand it's not me. It's a market. So sometimes I hear like a lot of agents on the social media saying like, we can get like completely closing costs for you. It's not the agent, it's the market, but what is gonna drive you, what you can do. Okay, absolutely. Your agent is gonna tell you what to do in that market. Okay.
And I think that what people need to think about is, think about it as if it was your house. If you were selling your house and you had 20 offers, what are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna go with the one that is the best, right? Exactly. So when you talk about clean offers, what does that mean? Like, is it just not asking for any closing costs?
Yeah, sometimes there is two very important things, that it's the time and actually the money. How much they're gonna get. Okay, When I talk about clean offers, maybe we don't ask for closing costs, we don't ask for a home warranty or any concession from the seller.
Right.
Okay, but the time it's actually another thing that you have to consider.
Time
because,
to close.
yes,
Got it.
yeah, it's not the same for them closing 30 days than 60 days because they need to pay another mortgage, stay more time on the house, and have another expenses for that. So it's
in fact the time is I can speak on that because I remember that when I bought that beat up house for $100,000 cash, we got the offer accepted only because we could close cash.
Exactly.
So they had offers for like 120,000, 118,000, and the only reason they went with our offer was because of the cash, right? Because you can close right away. So yeah.
And there is a lot of people coming from other states that they have cash. So we are competing with that, and you need to understand that. So I believe some clients that I have from January that right now they can't buy a house. They cannot, absolutely not, because they need the closing costs in order to buy. And if we cannot get in this market, they are completely out.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, there's a lot of people that are being left out, and so less and less people are just going to be able to afford. I mean, at some point, this is going to have to like take some other direction, but I think that people are just like too worried about when that's going to happen instead of like just doing something now. And then when it happens, if it happens, then okay, take advantage of it again.
Exactly, but you're just waiting for the perfect time. It never is the perfect time, so you're never gonna be. Exactly.
So, any final tips?
Buy now.
In general, buy now.
Buy now.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I truly believe you need to be conscious about your finance, your debts, and your credit score, because I had a lot of, oh my God, situations with the clients like, oh my God, how you did that.
I know.
And yeah, you need to understand how this works to make a good deal in the future. I always say, like, yeah, live your life how you always are gonna buy a house. You never know when you're gonna get that great deal. So actually, if you just bought your house, next year the same. You never know if the next year prices go down and you say, like, no, I did a very bad taxes, so I cannot buy. So please always live like if you're gonna buy a home.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's close up, and I'll speak a little bit on that because it's important that we live like we're always going to buy a house, but there's also another factor with that that's also going to help you to live below your means, and that's very important too. Like, you never want to live like you're making $50,000 a month, even if you are, because you never know when you can buy a house or whenever there's a recession or whenever you lose your job or anything like that. And if you have to keep up that level, then you're not going to be able to buy a house. You're not going to be able to like take a good offer, right? Because now it's like, oh, I bought that, super expensive car and now I can't qualify, or credit card debt, or, whatever the case may be. So keep your expenses as low as possible, at least on credit, and buy now. Take care, everybody.